Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I was cleaning off my glasses, so I forgot that the stream started, or I didn't see it after the countdown. I really need to make an intro for this show. I'm working on it. I don't know exactly what I want to go with, but we'll make something good. It'll be fun. But how's everyone's morning going? Good to see everybody. Happy Wednesday. Let me get everyone that's in here. Random Ray, Donna Hall. Good morning, Donna. Shane G, Naked Goose, Whitefall over on Rumble. Hello, Skeptical Luigi, Spider Unlimited, Tazrin, Mongoose. Good morning, Mongoose. Adam, Shane. Wait, I think I already did. I get. I don't know. Hi, Shane. Hi, Adam. Count D, Trash Talk, Naked Goose, and Binary Recoil. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Did you guys have a nice week? Oh, it has been I feel like it's been quite a week. There's a lot, especially last night. Um, when I went on X, it's just like people were going off. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that today. Quite a bit of news happened within the last week. Spider Unlimited for 2, 4, and oh, let's effing go. Yes, go Bills. Oh, it was such a good game. I mean, there were parts of it that were a little slow, but we won, so I'm happy. I don't even care. I'm just happy that we won. So that made my Sunday. Just kind of hung out with friends, made some sauce, and just relax. It was wonderful. It reminded me of Sundays when I was a kid. 'Cause that's what my mom always did. The house always smelled like sauce being made or pizza and wings, something yummy. And the Bills game on, so it was nice. Very, very nice. Good morning, Zencat. Trey, how are you? You just started vacation? Nice, Adam. That's wonderful. Vacations are always nice. Love vacations. So maybe we should just get right into it. I don't know what I sorry, funny video. What I want to start with. I guess we could start with this here. So I don't think this really surprises anybody, but YouTube has agreed to pay 24.5 million. That's a lot of money to settle a lawsuit for suspending President Trump's account in 2021. Now that is a big like uh-oh whoopsie daisy, you know what I mean? That's a lot of money for them to just big, we screwed up. Not really fighting it, just like we're just going to pay it. We messed up. Here we go. Uh so that the this doesn't surprise me, but when I saw that I was just like, dang, 24.5 million. Mm. I wonder if he'll go after the old CEO or whoever, the people that were running Twitter back then cuz they did him wrong as well. Yeah, he was a sitting president. That's what I'm saying. Like the old owners of Twitter are probably like, uh oops. Hi Sherry, good morning. Hi Drew. They should go deeper on this, not just COVID stuff like when Naughty Dog went after gamers. I know. I feel like we're gonna see a turn, right? The old things are gonna get brought up from, 2020 to like till now of people just getting silenced because a lot of it was wrong. I mean, how many people did we see get canceled that we even know, that lost their job just because what actual cancel culture is, which we have covered this a million times, but actual cancel culture is if you like a tweet that hurt their feelings and then they have to go and get you, you know, fired. But no, Jimmy Kimmel, that's conservative cancel culture. You know what? Speaking of that, let's get that one out of the way. Whoop, hello. Let's get that out of the way now, just cuz I know you are all just absolutely flabbergasted and shocked as I was seeing this news. Jimmy Kimmel's short-lived rating spike comes to screeching halt. Not just like a mild, slow halt, but a screeching halt. And I don't think any of us are surprised here. Come on now. I seen a few people, because this is what happened. I'll explain it for those of you who maybe don't know. Because some people really thought that this was a cancel culture moment. I will agree that some of the stuff that maybe like Trump tweeted like coming at Jimmy wasn't his finest moment, right? Because everyone's like, Trump's trying to cancel Jimmy, blah, blah, blah. But it was the sponsors. At the same time, I feel like even when Trump may say some stuff that we're like, it's, they tried to kill him, so I feel like he gets a little leeway with that, you know what I mean? I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I would be pretty mad too, as I think anybody would be after everything that they put him through and, trying to kill him. That's, I would be angry. So, he gets a pass for that. Um, but anyways, yeah, short-lived rating spike. Would those of you who maybe have been living under a rock, which good for you because we're also gonna dive into people, you know, spending too much time on the internet. I know for some of us it's like our job and we cover things for you, but more of like the normies that are just getting so angry over things. We're gonna get to that. But again, if you've lived under a rock, Jimmy Kimmel, who is not funny at all, if you just look back at past jokes that he has said coming at the right, they're very distasteful and they're not even funny at all. He said that the man that killed Charlie Kirk was mega, and that was supposed to be a joke like, haha, they're killing each other because, murder, so funny. Good one, Jimmy. Not. And sponsors refused to sponsor the show. So, yeah, he was put on hiatus, wasn't even canceled. Everyone cried about it because the left was like, wait, hold on. It's one of our own. We're upset. Let's get mad. Let's boycott. Let's this and that. Let's hit the keyboards. So, he got brought back. Okay. And people were so silly. I seen some of my friends, like, okay, this isn't gonna last very long, like the rating spike. And lo and behold, look at this. Screeching halt. But there were lefties that were just like, "You're just mad. You're just mad." And it's like, "Yeah, no, not really. We're just correct because it's only been a few days." And even the people that were standing up for him don't wanna watch him because it was people that didn't watch him, given you could just look back at the ratings that he had before this whole comment was made, that he didn't have the viewerships there. He was costing Disney money, really, but we all know that Disney likes to lose money for some reason. It's like their thing. I don't know, whatever. At least they're consistent on something. Just kidding. Uh, so yeah, and I seen Christian Rocker sent a PayPal donation. Ah, there it goes. Don't worry, I won't dox ya. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 5, for always being a beautiful shining light in the darkest of times. Oh, hey, thank you. Oh my gosh, sorry. I just got a jump scare from Epic Mazza. Hold on a second. Was not ready for that. Epic Mazza for 3 with a super sticker. It's how's it going? Hello. You scared me. It's going great though. I looked up and was not expecting my morning to start with this, but thank you for the 3. Oh man. The Mazes are multiplying and now Mike has joined in. Uh-oh. And yeah, so Kimmel's short-lived rating spike comes to a screeching halt. Spike, sorry, comes to a screeching halt at the surprise of absolutely no one except for maybe the left, because they thought they did something. They thought they were cooking, right? They're like, yeah, we stuck it to the right wingers. That'll show them. Now we can stop watching because he's actually not funny, but we don't want to admit it. Oh, so let's say hi. Some people snuck in here during my little, I don't know, that wasn't really a rant, but Westward Smile, Matthew. I know. Mongoose is probably the most shocked of all of us, really, though. Mike and Christian Rocker, thank you again so much for the 5. The very sweet words. Shaman, if Trump actually violated a law, that would be one thing, but it's just silencing him at every turn. Exactly. And we know that, and they know that, but they try to paint it differently, Case in point here, what happened with Charlie. It even if he was all the things that they say he's not, but it has been proven time and time again using his own words. Well, let's take Jimmy off the screen. I don't want to look at his face anymore. It's been proven with his own words from the horse's mouth that he's not a racist, he's not a fascist, he's not any of the things that they want to paint him as, right? Or what he was. But they think in their heads that that justifies him being murdered if they say he is that type of person, but it doesn't. That's still coming for freedom of speech. Now, I don't agree with actual racists saying awful things, but I don't think they need to be killed for words. And that's That's how the left thinks, and it's getting really bad. Seeing just what people are saying, it's horrible. It's actually heartbreaking to see because these are, the American people. These are supposed to be like our people, well, at least us here in America, and they're just like, you gotta be worried that in your job, if you disagree with somebody, they're gonna physically attack you. That is just, I don't know. I don't know how these people were raised, what the heck has gone on in the last like 15 years, but something needs to change. America's, except for you. We like it when you don't think before you share. What's up, Dimaj and I? And Americus. Achilles, hello. I haven't watched it yet. The last episode of South Park was boring. The first 2 of the season were funny. Listen, I'm sad about South Park. The first episode I defended a little bit, right? I'm like, oh, they make fun of everybody, even though I didn't really think about the fact that they did not make fun of Biden, but maybe it's because that was just too easy. At least maybe I wanted to tell myself that. I haven't watched the last 1 or 2, but I'm just like, "What are they doing?" They never were like a bend the knee type people, you know what I mean? They just did whatever they wanted to, made fun of whoever they wanted to, but now they're turning into everybody else where they just make fun of the right. And, they did it before. It's so funny, like the whole when Mr. Garrison was Trump and was riding around with, Caitlyn Jenner, like the "Buckle up, buckaroos," like, that was so funny. That was good stuff, but we're not really, um sorry, I don't like my hair, I gotta fix it. There we go. I looked at myself in the camera and I was like, "Nope, sorry. Please hold. We are talking important stuff, but I'm still a girl." Um, but you know what I mean? It's makes me sad that South Park is going down this road. Paramount. They need to go back on HBO. Good morning, Iris. According to Fallon, he's not going to be political. Well, I hope not. Now, Fallon's not like super funny, but he's definitely funnier than Jimmy Kimmel. He does more of like dad humor, and people can appreciate that. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but his ratings are probably better than Jimmy Kimmel's and Stephen Colbert and everything because he kind of still sticks to that late night formula where he just has guests come on and they're goofy and funny and they talk about stuff. They don't get I don't watch him religiously, to be honest. I only see clips that, like, my mom will send me, like, "Oh, look at this funny clip." That's the kind of humor he goes for, like, moms and dads, right? Which is fine because that's pretty much who's gonna be watching. People like, the younger generation, they're not really watching late night TV, but they will watch the clips that go viral, so there's that. What's up, Hidden Bee, Tara Crystal, hello. Alaska Ski. See, I haven't said sky in so long. Good morning. Yep, that's what I say. I'm like, he hasn't been funny since The Man Show. Now, I didn't watch it when it was on, but I remember seeing like, reruns or something. Jimmy Kimmel hasn't been funny since The Man Show, and he was riding Adam Carolla's coattails then. But when you look at clips, was he even funny then? Like his own segments that he did, they weren't funny. They weren't. He's just not funny. Fetty Gator, good morning. First Colbert, now Kimmel, and Fallon knows he's next. His CNBC interview yesterday was him begging to be loved. Really? I didn't see that. I should look into that. I also don't think they should get fired either. What, the people that were talking about Charlie? Did I miss, what you said? Maybe you're talking about something else. I'll see it. Working Wolfie, hello. Uh, Hrav Hravka. I said that wrong. Hra Hrav. Can I just say Rob? Jose Taco, hello. Jose, I got the Sunday ticket, but it needed more information. Like I needed your son's like email, and then I needed to have access to the student dashboard. So I wasn't able to use it. So if you want to give that to somebody else, go ahead. I did find a discount though. So I still got it at a discount for the Sunday ticket. But I just wanted to let you know that in case you would like to pass it on to maybe someone else in your family or something. Yeah, it was weird. And I'm like, and I wasn't gonna ask you for it because I'm like, I don't need to know this much detail just to watch football. But I really appreciate that you sent it to me. I don't make my position known at work for that reason. I'm more afraid they'll try to get me fired. That's so sad, Drew, and I understand, like, when people are like, "No, stand up," but when your livelihood's at stake and you maybe don't have other options, it makes it very hard, and that's why a lot of people were very quiet during a lot of this. It's very sad. I actually let me see if I can find this. I don't know if I bookmarked it. I find a lot of stuff on Instagram because listen, Twitter's better than some places. We're gonna get into this in the middle, but in a minute, in a middle, I can't talk. But stay off of Threads, TikTok, and what is it, Blue Sky? I've never even been on Blue Sky, but no, thank you. I'm okay. If I go on there and say one thing, I'll probably get banned in 3 seconds because there's fragile little flowers over there. But it's disgusting over there. My mom sends me stuff from Threads. I'm like, "Mom," I told her the other day, I'm like, "Stay off Threads." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was Instagram." I'm like, "I understand." I'm like, "But Threads was made, to be, like, opposite of, Twitter. So don't just stay off," because she gets angry and then she sends me stuff, and I understand why she's angry, but I'm like, "I'm angry too. I see enough of this stuff. I don't need to get it, like, brought up again." You know what I mean? I think I may have forgot to save it. It was a Turning Point thing. Turning Point USA. I think it was Megyn Kelly. Um, just bear with me for a second. I wanna find this because it actually goes in with what Drew is saying here, which I'm not disagreeing with you. I totally understand when you have to do that. There it is. Here we go. Okay, here we go. 1 second, then I'll catch up with chat. Let me make sure I share the sound too. Okay, so this girl, just listen. It'll explain it.
Identity and inclusion in agriculture class, which is a required course for my major, I feel forced to act like I'm a lefty. What's your advice on that?
That class you have to take is absolute baloney. And I actually think in that class, maybe you could have some fun. Like if I went to that class, I think I'd enjoy myself. You should say what you really believe.
I'm honestly afraid that I'm not going to pass the class if I speak up, like you've already mentioned.
Then you take that paper and you go to your dean and you say, this person's failing me because I'm conservative. And I'm literally going to at Harmeet Dillon at the DOJ Civil Rights Office if you try to ruin my college career because of my political beliefs.
I definitely speak up in class. I'm just a little hesitant.
You're hesitant because you guys aren't having her back. Charlie's Army, they use that term at his memorial, Charlie's Army. And you're all part of it. And you guys have to have her back. Erica said she'd have your back. You got to have her back. If she speaks up in class and says something, somebody say, I agree with her. That's how I feel too. You got to do it for each other. So you're not just the one sore thumb sticking out and the teacher feels less emboldened to try to bully you.
I'm taking in identity and inclusion in agriculture.
Okay. So I agree with that. But that's so sad that these kids are like, you go to college and you're excited to learn new things, meet new people, and nowadays it's so awful that a young girl like this is afraid to be a conservative. And this isn't the first time I've seen it. One of the reasons why I decided to start doing this show and be more vocal, you guys already know where I stand. You know that I'm a conservative Christian and I have been my whole life. I just as a child and teenager, I didn't care about politics and I didn't know about it. But the way I lived my life, you know what I mean? I wasn't, I didn't say I was a Republican or anything like that. But, you know, thinking back to the way I was and the way some of my friends were and stuff, we were definitely different. And that's just the lifestyle that I've always lived. So a big reason, this was like the pushing forward for me to do more and to speak out more about this stuff. A little bit of politics, but just like current news and my faith is I had a friend whose teenager, after what happened with Charlie, was so shaken up about it that, she came home in tears and was just not handling well because she's a conservative and she was afraid of that. And that I was like, okay, like that hurt me because this is a just based, wonderful child. And, this shook everybody. So it's not crazy that it would shake someone young, but the fact that, she was terrified, that just I was like, okay, I need to do something because I was trying to think so hard, like, what do I do now? Like, where do we go from here? And I don't have a huge platform, which love you guys. And the fact that I get, even 5 people watching me, I appreciate it more than you guys could ever know. But that was kind of that was the turning point for me where I was like, okay, I'm gonna be more vocal. I'm gonna, so you guys know already, I'm still doing the pop culture stuff and everything, but I have to be a voice for people who can't speak out, if that makes sense. Good morning, A2 Bacon. Good Toyota Corolla. Hello. Brimstone. HRA, well, maybe. Uh, Man show not funny unless you enjoy grown men acting like that's what I mean. I didn't watch it as a kid, but I remember seeing a couple clips. Like I was younger, definitely like reruns or whatever. But watching it now, I'm just like, it's still more entertaining than what the heck he does now because he has nothing to lean on except making fun of the right. Do. Achilles, thank you for the 5. Hey, wicked seed of thought. Lately, Christian churches have been attacked. Also, Kirk means church. This means Judeo Christian values are under attack. Yeah, that's to be honest right now. Thank you for the segue because this was my next topic that I was going to bring up. I need to educate myself more on certain topics like this, but how absolutely heartbreaking is this? Over 7,000 Christians killed in Nigeria in the first 220 days of 2025. Just think about that. Let's just calculate that. And that's just like a rough number, right? I'm sure we don't know the real number. That's 7,000 in 220 days. So that's basically like 30 to 32 Christians killed every day in Nigeria. That's insane. That is absolutely heartbreaking, and that we're living in times like that. We struggled, we had wars and all this, just everything to keep this not happening. Now this is Nigeria, the Western world over here in America and everything. It's not like that, but it seems that they're trying to get it that way. Let's see. Um, Wicked should do a blue sky permaban speedrun. You know what I would probably have to do? Simply, if I made a Blue Sky account and was just like, "There's only 2 genders," I'd probably be gone in, like, 5 seconds. Like, that's really probably all that you have to say to get yourself banned over there, let's be real. It used to be bad form to talk politics at work. I agree with that Westward Smile. Like, when you're sitting around the water cooler, let's say, right? The water cooler talk is what people always, you know, use. You would talk about the popular show that was out before, right? I talked about this on Wicked's World the other day, how not that pop culture is dying. And funny enough, people came in there freaking out like, oh no, it's just you anti-woke YouTubers that think pop culture is dead. And I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about, moron. I'm talking about, when big shows came out like Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad, things like that people were so excited to watch that you had everyone was around their TV at, especially for like finales, and they all watched it. And then the next day, everyone talked about it. We don't really get that anymore, minus maybe shows like Squid Games or, ones that become bigger like that. But even that, I didn't even watch the first season of that until after the second one was already out. So again, like not everybody is watching it together. So that's what used to happen at work. People talked about pop culture, but now pop culture is shoving politics and social issues down our throats to the point where there's just no that's what everyone's talking about, and people are so angry. I mean, this happened to me. I when I first, kinda I wouldn't even say I really got into politics, but this is like cancel culture in real life. I was on Facebook just liking tweets, liking posts that I agreed with that leaned more right because it just made so much sense to me. And I thought that, common sense, which that is a superpower these days, let's be real. All these people I grew up with, adults who I still to this day love. Now, friends that I grew up with that have gone super left. I wouldn't say I still maybe have love for them, but I don't have any interest in really still continuing a friendship with some of them. And some of them cut me off. I had someone, I think I've told this story before, but in case you didn't hear it, during the whole Kavanaugh trial, I thought that it was so odd that not everybody, but that people were standing behind her, saying that she, believe all women stuff. And I'm like, what? People lie, not just women, men too. People just lie. So maybe get evidence before you, convict and like start prosecuting somebody. And that was one of the eye-opening moments for me when I started paying a little bit more attention. And just looking at her and the way she was like, like her face and like looking at people for answers. I'm like, am I the only one watching this right now? What do you mean? Like somebody's clearly telling her what to say. She don't know what's going on. She's getting paid. So I didn't even share stuff about that. I just liked certain posts. And I had one friend who was, a best friend for a long time, instead of messaging me and talking and maybe debating the topic because she was a believe all women type, she just unfollowed me on everything and never spoke to me again. And I was like, good riddance. Like, if you are that small brained that you can't even have a tiny little conversation with me about this and tell me that you think I'm wrong or we could agree to disagree, when I was not going hard with it. I liked a couple posts. I wasn't even making my own posts on it. But that's when it started. And I was just like, it's really sad just how infected the left brain is. There's right people that are like that too. Like, I don't want to use a term like right woke, but once a term comes out, but I've seen some of that where people are going a little too hard, and we're gonna get into that as well. But it's absolutely more left. I'm not gonna. We'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, Facebook is awful. I remember after Charlie passed, my mom sent me a message and she's like, Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen are the godparents to Charlie Kirk's kids. And I was like, what? They even know each other? Like, I looked into it and she's like, the first thing that pops up, she's like, well, I Googled it. And the first thing that pops up, and it was a Facebook article. She didn't notice it, but it was a Facebook article that she had originally seen. I was like, Mom, no, it was weird. You tell me that you guys saw this too. All the weird news that was going around surrounding like the NFL when Charlie passed, like, oh, this person donated money, this person donated money. And then apparently Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen were the godparents. I looked into it and very quickly I seen, you know, that's not public news who the godparents of Charlie Kirk's parent or kids are. And that makes sense. And I did tell my mom, I was like, Mom, listen, don't believe everything you read, please, even if it's positive. I would love that. I love Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld. That'd be cool, but it's not true. Uh, what's up, Keely? I was talking about legit race people. I don't think. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that. I didn't know if it was that or the other side. I agree too. It's like, but because it's just words, right? Now it'd be different if like an actual racist person took physical actions towards their beliefs. That's totally different. Which again, that goes with what we're saying with the people that are praising what happened to Charlie. It's like not only was he not that person, but they have to try and paint him as that person to make it okay when murder is just not okay. Not over words. Like just maybe stop being so sensitive. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you got to stand up for your values. I understand. I agree with that, but unfortunately, uh, you sure are, Trey. It's okay. Welcome to the club. Megyn Kelly is a powerhouse, navigating the challenges in her life while commanding the attention of millions with her voice and perspective. I've just recently started watching her stuff. Like, I knew who she was because the thing is, I've even once I moved over to the right, which I was never on the left. I was just like in the middle, like whatever. I'm just chilling. I don't know about politics. I'm not voting. And then I moved over because of the left. I've had that conversation, just seeing all these lies pushed on. It was Facebook and people that I personally knew, and it was heartbreaking after I found out the truth that like you're just okay with pushing all these lies. So, yeah, that Megyn Kelly, I didn't really watch her, but I've started watching a lot more of these people because I agree with what they say. I watch people that I disagree with as well, just to kind of get some perspective, right? That's fair, and the thing is, I have now my close circle and even just, like, the outer circle are mostly conservative or libertarian, but I wouldn't be opposed to having, like it's not that I don't wanna be friends with anyone who's Democrat. There's people in my life that I absolutely adore, like, family-wise, that I love them, and they are, but they're also not sitting here saying, like, "Yeah, good, someone died." They just there's still people over there that think that they're on the right side, that it's the party of love and stuff, and they're not really paying attention. And, having someone like me in their life may be good because if we actually sat down and had a conversation, they might listen to reason. Who knows? Thank you, Mongoose. I'm actually going to be uploading some stuff today. I have a few things going up there. What's up, Turbo Phil? Good morning. Yeah, agree with that. Kick crashed on you again? Oh, no. Well, I'm also on YouTube and Rumble. YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Yeah, Adam was cooler than Jimmy. I agree with that. Looks like, yeah, Christopher Peak. You're not kidding. Vara's verified on Blue Sky. That's so funny. Is she starting her she's trying to like Trojan horse her way into the liberals? Oh my gosh. I don't know how she does it, man. I couldn't. JD Vance holds the record. He probably made an account and they banned him. Oh, okay, sorry. Let's rewind so McFly can hear everything. Good morning. What's up, Hyper? Hertz, hello. That's hello. Mountain Mud, thank you for the $4.99. Good morning, lovely wicked. Hello, wonderful chat. Great. I can speak. Hello, wonderful chat. Great to see you all this morning. Thank you, Mountain Mud. Good morning. Spider Unlimited, you don't have to be political all the time. Just need to be real, civil, and aware. This is what the left doesn't understand. Absolutely. And how many videos have you seen, or just maybe post whatever of people speaking? And if somebody is talking logical to like I always say a frothing mouth lefty that is mad about something, and you just speak logic to them, and you're not screaming, they're like, "Oh, are you a conservative? You're a Republican." And sometimes people aren't. I have friends who aren't, they're just more about common sense and they don't really care about politics, but they speak common sense and they get called a Republican. And they're like, well, actually, I'm not. But how funny is that even the left, when you speak logic and common sense, you must be Republican because none of that is over there. Just a thought. Junior, thank you for the 5. Check out the book The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Hayden. It explains why people take politics so personal. I always love a good book recommendation. Let me write it down or type it out, actually. The Righteous Mind. And I'll keep the tab up because then I could just pop it. If it's on Audible, it'd be great. But I just pop it over on YouTube or Amazon. Thank you so much for the 5, Junior. Okay. No gray area anymore. I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, 7,000, Matthew. Very sad. Sorry, I'm just catching up now. When Blue Sky first started to get known, the mods were double checking X account names and immediately banning anyone that refused to accept the that's ridiculous. Hi, Donna. Good morning, Kings. I'm trying to catch up. Like I went off and I kept the chat like so that I could catch up. So anybody new coming in, I might miss you for a second. Hurts. Hello, Eternal Vigilance. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh yeah. You ain't kidding, Kings. Yeah, a lot of AI. Josh Allen will be wearing his new jersey this weekend. Oh, nice. It's the white one, right? Janky Kong, good morning. Mm. Scrolling, making sure I gotta catch up to the chat, actually. Forget super chats. Like I gotta catch up. What's up, Devastasia? How are you? Yes, Spark. Good morning. You better be, John. Be very afraid. Okay, I'm trying. What's up, Cranberry? That ghost. Majin. Okay. Good morning, AP. Thomas Sowell is why my politics are the way they are, and Daryl Davis. Yeah, those shows were so fun. So I have them. If anybody, I only did a few of them because it didn't really like take off. But I did a Monday morning coffee show like it was probably a year ago at this point. And what I wanted to do with that show was highlight people like Thomas Sowell, Daryl Davis. I think I also talked about there was a few other ones, but those were the 2 big ones. And it was just more so to be a bit positive since there's a lot of negativity on the internet, right? And just highlight smart minds that are, level-headed. They were fun. So maybe I can mix some of that in with this Wednesday show now. Okay, a point that I wanted to make here about since we're talking about everybody just like going off with, rage bait and everything. Something that I want to add, because this is on both sides. I've been seeing, there was, and this was a lot of people that shared this, not just one single person. So this is to my creator friends too. So just be careful with, the rage bait posting, right? I can't remember his name. I didn't go too into it, but the guy that did someone in the chat can tell me, I can't remember, was it Michigan, the shooting? And he actually was a conservative and people thought that the post was photoshopped because there was a post that was going around of him wearing a Trump shirt. So he actually was, unfortunately. It's unfortunate that this happens at all, but it's also sad that, like, whatever side you're on, you're like, I hope this person wasn't left, or hope this person wasn't right. But he was an army vet that, has had some mental damage, and he was radicalized. I can't remember his name, but the picture that was taken was from his Facebook in 2019, so it wasn't photoshopped. And that's something else, like, where, you gotta be careful about what you share, and rage baiting, because we all see it, we get mad and like, oh, and we share it to our friend, or we post it. But it's very important, even on our side too, so that we don't end up just as bad as the left, to fact check, right? If something makes you have an emotional or a confirmation bias reaction, critically think. Yeah, critically think it and then look into it. You can say, like, you can maybe mention it if you're upset about it, right? But just if you get that reaction, take a second, breathe, and look into it first before you blow it up on the internet. That's that's just my take on that. And that's what I meant by, like, the stream today, where, think before you share. And rage bait is a thing on both sides. Just be careful, because we don't want to end up just as bad as them, right? Like, the left are like, I'm not, the quickest way that they turn anybody, like, they turn a group, and it's their group, but the quickest way they turn you against somebody is just say that they're a racist. But let's not look into it. Look at how many people didn't want to get educated and are actually going, like, to the microphone and arguing with people that are doing, uh not they're kinda, I wouldn't say like the college campus stuff that Charlie Kirk was doing, but if they're doing like a civil discourse debate, and, they're pro Charlie Kirk, and then people are coming up there just frothing at the mouth, because they always are, like, "He was a racist," and they're, like, shouting over the people trying to tell them. It's just like, that is such a low IQ thing to do. If I said something and someone was like, "Well, actually, you're wrong, and here's why," I'd be like, "Oh, thank you for educating me, because I feel stupid now for saying the wrong, like, taking it out of context," or, but they don't. They're just like, no, whatever pushes our agenda. And that's so dangerous. And that is what is creating all these radical people. It's awful. It's just absolutely awful. Um, Mr. Girls, I live very close to the area where that happened. I pass it every time I go to visit my grandma and great aunt at their assisted living. Oh, really? Oh, that's scary, living so close to that. MacFly says, just remember that we're all being manipulated by social media. They specifically try to get you to rage post because it makes them the most money, and it's all about clicks and view time. You're not wrong. That's why I don't clickbait, or what is the word? Some of my friends do it, like, in funny ways, and I'm not coming at them. I just don't do it even in funny ways. Like, I could post something that I'm not, that I don't agree with, like, gender is a spectrum or something on Twitter, and it would just freaking blow up, because it would get eyes on people that don't know me, and they wouldn't know that I'm joking, and it would get the clicks, it would get the views. Yeah, grifting, that's another word for Trey. But I don't do stuff like that, because it's just not me. Like, if I was doing it in a funny way, you would definitely know, but it's just not my thing. I could be monetized on X if I really wanted to, like, I would like to, maybe I'll eventually get there, but I need to have, like, a post just go viral. But I just post, like, what I want, my day-to-day stuff, it's just, yeah, just what I am is what goes on there. What's up, Brisket? Some people will not look beyond a headline because it would invalidate their emotional response. Exactly, exactly. Imagine, there's a lot of YouTubers that do clickbait. But clickbait was a thing even before YouTube. Newspapers and everything did it. And imagine just seeing a headline like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so angry." And then if you actually read the story, you're like, "Oh, wait a minute." Yeah, Charlie Stevenson. People are used to name calling when they were not at facts. Something very funny. My mom has a friend who, I call her a rhino, because she's a registered Republican, but she's a feminist, and there's just things that I've heard come out of her mouth, and things that my mom have told me that she said. I'm just like, and then I had to explain to my mom what a rhino was, which, if chat doesn't know, it's Republican in name only. She talks crap about Trump all the time, and she resorts to leftist tactics where it's like, "Oh, his tie was too long. It doesn't look right." And, I remember during the pandemic, I wasn't in Florida yet, But she's like, DeSantis is gonna kill all the children. He's lifting it. Like the 2 week, you know, the 2 week whatever they were calling it he actually did it. Like Florida was back open after 2 weeks, and what do you know? The kids are okay. And then she would say stuff like he puts things in his shoes to make him taller, and it's just like, okay, what does that have to do with his policies? It's just, and I had to explain it to my mom because she didn't get it. Like she was just always very annoyed by her, and I'm like, because she's a rhino, that's why, and she's angry. Yeah, devastation. I don't disagree with that. There is a lot of that. There is a heck of a lot of that. What's up, High Tide? I feel like posting things for clicks is dumb because it's short-lived and you're not building a community that's there for you. Exactly. And that's why I don't do that. I just post what I want. You know what I mean? Like I said, if I if I went on Twitter right now, I was like, gender is a spectrum. You guys are bigots or whatever. People that don't know me would go nuts. Conservatives that don't know who I am would just lose it. But why? Why would I do that? Uh Probably. I think she just watches the news. Do you watch MSNBC? Yeah. You are what you applies to a lot of things. Uh, what's up, Eugene? Federal government employee here at an active duty military hospital. Just wanted to pass along that some federal government employees do work and actually take care of active duty and retirees. Well, God bless you. That's wonderful to hear. That's there's definitely still some good people over there. And that's some hard work that you're doing over there, Eugene. Where am I here? That's sorry. I don't want to dim that down. That's very you're doing God's work over there. Risket says Republican Party is more rhinos than conservatives. We need to either shut down lobbyists or make their donations publicly available. Yeah. That's a start. That is a start. My parents also hate Trump, even though that's the thing. They all loved him. Think about like, okay, just a silly example is like rap songs from like the early 2000s and probably even the 90s. Like I got Trump money, or I forgot which maybe somebody can tell me in the chat. I forget which song it was, but he was like, I'm the Black Donald Trump. He was looked up to. People loved him. He was a prince of New York City. But he starts messing with their agenda, and let's pull out all these lies on him and get people to hate him. Speaking of, let's take a little break and have a giggle. One thing, well, I can't say we can all agree on it because the left doesn't know humor. But I think us, on the other side can agree. If anything, Trump is probably the funniest president we've ever had. Let's be real. So Trump, this was funny.
We'll get it down even further, but insulin was people weren't taking it. I would imagine they couldn't take it. God bless you, Bobby. I hope I didn't catch COVID just there. Don't you have Paxlovid? What is it? Paxlovid. He's got Paxlovid. Give me a Paxlovid immediately.
Listen, he is so charismatic that he's like, it's like a comedian in a way, right? Like he just can keep going. Like when he was at the UN conference and they turned the teleprompter off on him, and he he did better probably than what was there. I'm sure he remembered what was in his speech, but all they did was make him look better because he's very charismatic. And maybe not, yeah, that's true, Trey, because that's what growing up, that's what I was told. Not that I believed it, but I had, my mom who wasn't political, but her friends and other family members that are Democrats that just made it seem like Republicans were like retarded. Like they're just so stupid and they're racist and they're this and that. And like as a kid, I'm just like, wow, sounds awful. And then I become an adult and I'm like, am I awful? Because that's me. I stand for all that too. I pray that one day there's always going to be the political divide. And that's what they want. They want to divide us racially, politically, all of it. And it's never going to stop, unfortunately. But I just pray that more people decide to, like, you don't even have to be Republican. Probably have more friends that are libertarian than Republican because there's problems on both sides. I just pray that someday people on the left allow themselves to be educated. It happens. We see, that's what they call it, red pills, right? But it's just about being educated. I would hate to be a part of a party that to push your narrative, you have to lie. That just it makes no sense to me. But then again, common sense is a superpower these days. I see some really crazy, like, just stay off of TikTok, everybody. Okay. TikTok is just brain rot. You don't need TikTok. I don't even care if you're a creator. Just get rid of your account. TikTok is awful. Okay. I don't usually tell people what to do, but you don't need TikTok. The funny stuff that you like on TikTok will make its way over to the YouTube shorts and it'll make its way over to Reels on Instagram. I got rid of my TikTok a long time ago, and I'm so glad that I did. I was on there doing my cosplays and stuff, like, maybe, gosh, probably like 2 years ago, more than that now, and one day I was just like, "This is garbage," and I got rid of it, and I'm so glad that I did. TikTok is awful, and so is Threads. Threads, I have it to where, like, my reels will automatically post on Threads, but I have no idea who's, like, replying or liking that stuff because I will not go on Thread. I will not go on Threads. It's that's understandable. Stopped X, I doom scroll too much. Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm very guilty of that, but that's why I have a timer on my phone that I could only be on for like an hour. And then I could turn it back on if I want, but then it grays out and I'm like, okay. And the reason I do that, I remember saying that on Saucy and someone's like, that's so sad that you need to put a timer on. It's like, no, it's not sad because this is part of my job. I go on Twitter and I find topics to talk about. I talk business with people through DMs and stuff like that. But I still do that. So if after that time is hit, usually after like, I want to say 9 or 10 p.m., I'm not going to be responding to messages until the morning because I just let it shut off and no notifications and it's great. Out of sight, out of mind. What's up, Fu Man? By the time I started paying attention to politics, my family had me convinced that he was a bankrupt criminal, and then I listened to one campaign speech and I knew they were ignorant fools. Exactly. See what I mean? It's so easy to just debunk what they say. I was not political at all. At all. And the one moment that got me to actually look into it, because I was like, this sounds so silly. Like, why would they even allow this man to run? Why would anybody support him if he was this and that? It was a shirt of some white lady that said, "Make America White Again," and this was before MAGA was a big thing. This is when he first ran. Like, it was big, but to somebody like me who wasn't political, I didn't know. And I was like, "Okay." So I started looking into it, and it was found the actual picture that says, "Make America Great Again," and there was all those, like, photoshopped Epstein pictures of, like, Trump in the '90s and then Epstein in the 2000s, and I'm like, "These aren't even the same year. What? Not even the same decade." And that's what got me. So I started looking into more stuff, and I was like, just and it wasn't because anybody on the right was trying to pull me over to that side. It was because the left was lying so much that I thought it was so far-fetched and ridiculous that I had to look into it. So maybe one day we'll get people that actually want to educate themselves. I don't know. Let's get into this here because I've probably listened to Bad Bunny or heard his music at some point. I can't recall though. So I can't say like I listened to him or no, but I'm sure I've heard something at some point, right? So Bad Bunny, if you don't know who he is, he's Puerto Rican, I think. Yeah, he's Puerto Rican and he does Hispanic music. He very vocal about being a Trump hater, anti-ICE, and just everything that the left stands for, right? And he even canceled his tour in the US because he is afraid that ICE is going to, take away his fans, right? Like people are going to get taken away at the concerts. So he basically he just sucks. But let's listen to this.
Bad Bunny just said he refused to tour in the US because of ICE. But the biggest US stage, the Super Bowl, oh, suddenly that's fine. Well, I guess if the paycheck is big enough. I have listened to Bad Bunny, and I'm not gonna lie, I do like a lot of his songs. But I'm going to explain why I don't think he is a good fit for the Super Bowl. This is the same guy who sings almost entirely in Spanish. Yes, while Spanish is the second most spoken language in America, about 13% of the population speak it here. But the NFL audience, like, that is an entirely different crowd. So where's the logic here? He won't risk doing concerts here because he said that his fans, which I guess he assumes his fans are here illegally, might get caught up with immigration enforcement. But he'll take the Super Bowl paycheck because suddenly the demographics are just different. Are you saying football fans are more likely to be here legally? Or just that the stage is too big and the money's too good to say no? And here's the kicker. The NFL loves to say, well, we don't
All of the above, most likely.
do politics. You already did politics when you supported the organization Black Lives Matter, when you platformed artists with clear political agendas. And now you're openly bringing in a guy who openly said he skipped US tours because of ICE. You think he's gonna leave politics off the halftime stage? Not a chance. We're tired of it. Just be real. Stop pretending it's about football when it's always about the agenda. So Bad Bunny just said—
It makes me so mad. Because watch, I'm just going to say this. Of course, I want the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. Watch This Is the Year with stupid Bad Bunny performing. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but doesn't Jay-Z or his company handle the Super Bowl now and has for a few years? The difference is just they've been awful. And before we go there, I watch her on Instagram, but yeah, I've recently started following her. I like it. Sounds like he's making excuses. Yeah. I thought Bad Bunny was a chick. Let's see. I've never heard one of his songs. Don't know who he is. Only know him because he wrestled a few times, which means you don't know his music. Never heard one of his songs. So right here, this is only a few people in my chat, but that's the thing. Yeah, Jay-Z's Live Nation. Yeah. I'm going to pull up the Super Bowl list over the last, Super Bowl halftime performances over the last 10 years. Never heard of songs. Exactly. There's not all of us, but a lot of us in here are Americans, but some people that aren't Americans like to watch the Super Bowl, at least for the halftime show and the commercials and stuff, right? So you're putting somebody who's probably not even gonna freaking speak English for the Super Bowl. What? Okay. Hold on. I'm doing a list of the Super Bowl halftime shows real quick here. Oh, okay. It's going all the way back to the 60s. You know what? That's good. But I want to go way down here to the more recent ones so that we can see the stark change. I'm sorry. I'm not going to hate on Usher, though. I love Usher. Okay. So I was okay with that one. I do really like Usher. The Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem one was also cool. But let's go up. So when does anybody in the chat? Okay. When did Live Nation, let's see, when they started the Super Bowl? I don't know how to word that. See, when did Live Nation start handling the Super Bowl halftime? So Live Nation started producing the Super Bowl's post-ceremony in February 2025, following a multi-year partnership. Okay, so they have been a partner with the NFL since 2019. Okay, let's take a look here. We're going to see a big difference, okay? Let's just go up a few years before 2019. We've got, let's go, besides Beyonce, let's just go up to 2010. Why not? The Who, which was a really good show. I think, to be honest, my favorite halftime show, because I'm a millennial, was the Aerosmith, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Nelly, Mary J. Blige. Who else? I think it was just them. Mary J. Blige, and yeah, her and Nelly were kind of more background, but it was mostly Aerosmith, NSYNC, and Britney that took the stage, but then they were also there. Prince also did a great halftime show, John Durham. But the thing is, when they did that Aerosmith one, it was for everybody. It was for the kids. It was for the parents with Aerosmith, and it was just so much fun. I thought that was a great halftime show. Prince and MJ, though, I would say I didn't get to see those live. I don't even know what year those were, but I didn't always watch. But I remember watching the Aerosmith one live, and I was like, this is so much fun. We don't see that anymore. So here we go. 2010, The Who, which I remember. I think people really liked that one. The problem is, once I hit teen years, I worked the Super Bowl because I worked at a pizzeria. So I worked and missed a lot of stuff. So The Who, The Black Eyed Peas, didn't that one is that one of the ones that Fergie, like, kinda messed up and it was, like, mid? I don't know. Madonna, Beyonce, I remember thinking that one was mid. Bruno Mars, he's a good performer. Katy Perry, Coldplay, Lady Gaga, Justin Timberlake, Maroon 5, and then Shakira, Jennifer Lopez. The Weeknd, Dr. Dre, Snoop. I'm not gonna hate on the Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg one because that one was freaking awesome. Uh, I really like that one. Rihanna, I remember everyone just, like, praising her for that because, like, she did it when she was pregnant, and it was I thought it was mid, but whatever. Usher, I like Usher, so I'm not gonna hate on that. But you guys are seeing what's happening here, how after Jay-Z took control, Kendrick Lamar, and then now Bad Bunny. This one was weird. The Kendrick Lamar one, I remember watching, I was like, "Mm." Now, the Usher one, I was up dancing. I was watching it on my computer, I remember. And I was like, "Yes," because I really am a big fan of Usher. The Kendrick Lamar one was weird, but it was like I remember seeing, like, parodies that people were doing of it, of him, like, avoiding the camera, and then, like, when he calls out Drake and he's like, "I heard you like him young," and he looks directly in the camera, and people are like, "Dang." Yeah, there isn't, huh? I probably didn't I'm trying to remember the Weekend one. I like some of his songs, so I don't hate on him, but, um exactly, AP, and he's gonna be headlining the Super Bowl. So Bad Bunny is a Hispanic singer who sings only in Spanish, and he canceled his US tour because of ICE, but he's okay with taking the paycheck for the Super Bowl. I think Paul McCartney did. Here, let me you guys are we is this what we're doing? Let's go up. Let's see, I still have it up. Alright, let's go back up before the 2010s and see what we got here. See, look at this. This was all good stuff. Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, Prince, the Rolling Stone. Yeah, there's Paul, 2005. Look at how this was all like real talent. Not saying that some of the other artists aren't, but it's just like we see that once Jay-Z took control, it's like he specifically seems to not want white artists. That's all I'm saying. I'm just gonna say it because we're all thinking it. Look how good it was, Janet. Oh, this was the controversial one though. Poor Janet, man. Shania Twain and No Doubt, U2. Yeah, there's one, 2001. Oh, why don't they got Britney's on the sidelines. She should be right there. I guess it was Aerosmith and NSYNC, but Britney was right there with them. Um, wow, this was a big one. See, some of these I don't remember. I was very, what single digits me doesn't really remember. Some of them. Phil Collins, Christina Aguilera, Enrique Iglesias, Tony Braxton, Georgia State University. Wow. Gloria Estefan, Stevie Wonder. See, like they would put people together that you wouldn't think would go, but it worked because you're kind of catering to everyone's styles, and I love that. That's why I really liked the Aerosmith and NSYNC one. It was fun. The Blues Brothers. See, I gotta go back and watch some old ones. Diana Ross, Patti LaBelle, like MJ. I know I've seen the Michael Jackson one. New Kids. See, look at this. New Kids on the Block. Wow. See, look at that. Well, we're back in the 80s, Chubby Checkers. Like, wow, I should go back. That would be fun to just like go back and watch the old Super Bowls when they actually were good. There's been a couple that I like. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem one, but I'm not sure. MJ, yeah, that's right. He had the jetpack. Blue Paper Bandit, yeah, not here. Absolutely not. Not that kind of content. Fetty Gator, thank you for the 5. I tagged you in your Discord chit chat. Fallon's CNBC interview yesterday. He looks like he's about to cry. Now Fallon's gonna. What's up with the Jimmies, man? They need to chill out and get some testosterone in their body. My goodness. Fetty Gator, also thank you for gifting a membership. Here, let me pull that up then. Thank you for posting that. Let's see. Thank you. All right, it's pulled up. Let's watch it, guys. I haven't seen it yet, so let me turn the volume up there. Now, I wouldn't say that's a shame, Blue Paper Bandit. This is a Christian show here. As a Christian, OnlyFans is not my thing. All right. So Jimmy Fallon appeared visibly distressed when he was asked about the partisan connection with his show. Fallon, our show's never really been that political. We hit both sides equally, and we try to make everybody laugh. All right, let's see what he says.
Our show's never really been that political. We hit both sides equally, and we try to make everybody laugh. And that's really the way our show really works. I mean, our monologues are kind of the same that we've been doing since Johnny Carson was doing the Tonight Show. So really, I just keep my head down and making sure the jokes are funny. I have great writers, clever, smart writers, and we're just trying to make the best show we possibly can and entertain everybody.
Yeah, I messaged.
Our show's never really been
Wait,
that
hold on. Was he
political.
about to cry?
Yeah, I messaged.
Didn't show. Okay. So he didn't go full like Jimmy Kimmel. I agree with him on that. That, I don't. Their show really never really did get political. Not that I remember. That's the only thing I'll agree with him on. And I know comparing himself to Carson, like, okay, that's a big pat on your back. Yeah, I know. That's Jimmy Kimmel's whole thing. I can't believe his ratings shot down. Insane. Yeah, he's trying to save his job, which to be honest, I don't think he even needed to say anything because they don't get political. Jimmy does like sketch comedy over there, and he has, the stars coming on and they do silly little games together. I don't think he really needed to say anything. I know he's not John. Listen, Johnny Carson was the best that did it. So yeah, he needs to chill on that. Agreed. Okay. So I want to cover this one real quick. I'm sure you guys are tired to death of this. But Emma Watson, I know I talked about this already, but I'm also going to bring up J.K. Rowling's response. So that's why we're bringing this up again. I know we did it in a previous stream. So Emma Watson speaks on her rift with J.K. Rowling over the author's transgender views. I really don't believe that by having had that experience and holding the love and support and views that I have mean that I can't and don't treasure Joe and the person that I had a personal experience with. Sorry. I will never believe that one negates the other and that my experience of that person I don't get to keep and cherish. I just don't think these things are either or. It's my deepest wish that I hope people who don't agree with my opinion will love me, and I hope I can keep loving people who I don't necessarily share the same opinion with. Now, yeah, word salad. That's okay, Jack. She was probably a lot of people's first crush because of J.K. Rowling. Now, this is a lot. I don't know if I'm going to read all of this. We'll probably skim through. Yeah, she needs money, right? So, J.K. Rowling finally responds to Emma. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. You guys know I'm not a Harry Potter person, so don't really keep up with the actors. But I remember seeing that Emma and Daniel specifically just were very anti-JK. Didn't Emma call her a witch? And when she was at the BAFTAs, I believe, she had uh, a speech where she said she supports all women except for one, something like that. And it was directed at J.K. Rowling. So everyone defending Emma, saying that she didn't do anything wrong, it's because they think it's okay to not like JK and wish death and all the other horrible things on her because they disagree with her. So I'm seeing quite a bit comment about this. So I want to make a couple of points. Should I highlight, guys? This is going to pop in the chat and be like, excuse me. I'm not owed eternal agreement for any actor who once played a character I created. The idea is as ludicrous as me checking with the boss I had when I was 21 for what opinions I should hold these days. Emma Watson and her co-stars have every right to embrace gender identity ideology. Such beliefs are legally protected, and I wouldn't want to see any of them threatened with loss of work or violence or death because of them. However, Emma and Dan in particular have both made it clear over the last few years that they think our former professional association gives them a particular right, nay, obligation, to critique me and my views in the public. Years after they finished acting in Potter, they continue to assume the role of de facto spokesperson for the world I created. When you've known people since they were 10 years old, it's hard to shake a certain protectiveness until quite recently. I had managed to throw off the memory of children who needed to be gently coaxed through their dialogue in a big, scary film studio For the past few years, I've repeatedly declined invitations from journalists to comment on Emma specifically, most notably on the witch trials of J.K. Rowling. Ironically, I told the producers that I didn't want her to be hounded as a result of anything I said. The television presenter in the attached clip highlights Emma's all witches speech, and in truth, that was a turning point for me. But it had a postscript that hurt far more than the speech itself. Emma asked someone to pass a handwritten note from her to me, which contained the single sentence, "I'm so sorry for what you're going through. She has my phone number." This was back when the death, assault, and torture threats against me were at their peak, at a time when my personal security measures had to be tightened considerably, and I was constantly worried for my family's safety. Emma had just publicly poured more petrol on the flames, yet thought a one-line expression of concern from her would reassure me of her fundamental sympathy and kindness. Now that is nuts. And I've seen a couple of comments where people were like, that was nice of her. It's like, could you imagine somebody that was in your life? It doesn't even have to be professional because they probably were on some level very close. She wrote these characters. Emma portrayed the one that J.K. Rowling has specifically said she wrote as herself, kind of that Hermione was a bit like her. So I'm sure they were very close. So just imagine being so close with somebody that and you're in a time of need and they disagree with you, so they turn their back on you. And not only do they turn their back on you, but just to show some sympathy, they have a note passed to you like we're in high school instead of a text, an email, something. I don't know, man. So let's continue. Like other people who have never experienced adult life uncushioned by wealth and fame, Emma has so little experience of real life that she's ignorant of how ignorant she is. That's a very good line. Very good line. Because these child stars, especially ones that maybe didn't have it so rough, but had that cushion where they never knew poverty or struggle of any kind, always had a personal security guard to protect them. And then these children stars grow up and try to tell us how to live like with gun control and all that stuff. And it's like, you are always safe. And ironically, you are always safe because your bodyguard has a weapon. But that's a talk for a different day. She'll never need a homeless shelter. She's never going to be placed on a mixed sex public hospital ward. I'd be astounded if she's been in a high street changing room since childhood. Her public bathroom is single occupancy and comes with a security man standing guard outside her door. Yeah. Has she had to strip off a newly mixed sex changing room in a council run swimming pool? Is she ever likely to need a state-run assault crisis center that refuses to guarantee an all-female service? To find herself sharing a prison cell with a male rapist who identified into the women's prison? No. I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. I therefore understand from my own life experience what the thrashing of women's rights, in which Emma so enthusiastically participated, means to women and girls without privileges. The greatest irony here is that Emma had not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves me and treasures me, a change of tact I suspect she's adopted because she's noted this full throated condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it was. I might never have been this honest. Adults can't expect to cozy up to an activist movement that regularly calls for a friend's assassination, then assert their right to the former friend's love as though the friend was in fact their mother. Emma is rightly free to disagree with me and indeed to discuss her feelings about me in public, but I have the same right and I finally decided to exercise it. I thought that was very well written. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of J.K. Rowling, but I do agree with her when it comes to, because she's a feminist. I don't agree with feminists, but the part of it where women are women, I absolutely agree with. So I understand her take on this. She's so right about that. She also posted something, which we won't get into that right now, but she had posted something about a man who identified as a woman was like exposing himself and doing gross things in a high school, and this was in Texas too. A high school girls like changing room, and a woman and her daughter saw it, and the judge is being smart. It seems, last I seen on it, that he probably is going to get locked up, and he's not, accepting the well, he's a woman thing, because women don't have wieners. So if you guys heard that story, it's crazy. If you haven't, JK did tweet it if you want to go through her tweets, but I'm not going to pull it up here. But that's the scary part, right? And that's what these people, I guess, don't understand, or they just don't care, because they don't care about the kids. That's the problem. And this actually made me very angry. My aunt is she's a sweetheart, and she's a Christian, and Republican. Uh, Unfortunately, my cousin, who I was very close with at one point, he's in the army and everything, and he met someone there who is an atheist and a leftist, which is an awful combination. So they have twin daughters. They're still very itty bitty. But my aunt was just, because this is, again, we're just common sense, right? She was talking about being scared for young girls if they want to use, a public restroom, that a man might come in it. And apparently, I really wish that I was there for this, because I would have probably went off on her. I really am not. I do not like my husband's, my. I was gonna say my cousin's husband, my cousin's wife. He did not pick a good one. She's awful. But anyways, so she was like screaming at my aunt about this, and it's like, you guys have two young girls, and you're not worried about them going off into a bathroom and a man being there. Like, I don't know, like, that really upset me, and I wish I could have been there to have her back. Um no, no. No, I was talking about my cousin, and it would have been kind of funny if I would have said my cousin's husband, but no, my cousin's a man and his wife is what I meant. But yeah, so and I was so close with him growing up, and it's not that we're not close now, because he's actually recently found God again, which is great, because he grew up very Christian but kind of moved away from it. I don't, Mountain Mode, please don't. I don't need the internet spreading more lies. Uh Anyways, he's found God again, which is great, but he's stuck married to an atheist leftist, which has got to be just horrible for him. Um, exactly. I mean, let's see. Yeah, it's true. I know, Greg. I know. It's just the way the internet works, is like, you accident, like, people joke, and then they're like, it gets, people run with it. So I'm like, okay. Uh, all right. What else do we have here? I went off on a tangent, and now I forgot where I was. Christ is King, let's go. Amen. So, yeah, maybe I think that would be better for him, because I don't think that I would be able to, be in a relationship with somebody that is like that about it. Like, you could disagree, right? Especially these days, it's really hard to even be friends with people that have like different political, just politics, right? But even like faith, Christianity. When I came on the internet, it was jarring to me. Even like other streamers, their reaction when I would say like I'm a Christian, because also some of them have probably there's certain types of Christians that are kind of, for lack of a better term, can be mean if you're not a Christian, and they shame you and like sin, but it's like, we're all sinners. So I'm one of those Christians that believe, like me, it's the truth. Jesus Christ is the only person that has ever walked this earth that was sinless. So I don't like that approach. My approach is with love. And if somebody's like, I'm not Christian, I'll still be friends with you. We're fine. But I'm gonna pray that maybe one day you decide to take that step and look into it, at least. Cause I think it's better to believe in something than not. Have some faith, some hope, you know? But when I first, came on the internet and I would say that, like, I'd get weird looks, and that was so odd to me, because growing up, even if friends of mine weren't Christians, they looked at me as like the proper one. Like, that's how you should be. Like, you should be a Christian. Like, I'm happy that she's this way, whatever. Um, um, Yeah, McFly, I'm actually 60 years old. I've got 10 grandkids running around. But no, like that. So that was jarring to me because of, I mean, being on the internet, there's people from all over the world, all different countries. So, where I grew up, even the people that weren't Christian, they didn't fault me for it. They were like, you're living the proper way. And some of them, like, they would listen. It's not that I preached like I was a little 6-year-old, like preaching or anything, but you know what I mean. So I take the love route because I've said this so many times that if you're trying to bring someone over into faith, you got to do it with love, because if you do it with hate and by shaming them, they're just going to walk away from it. Pray that your cousin leaves his wife today. Exactly, Jose. I do. I would love to see that because they've been together for a while. Like I was younger, like they got married pretty young, and he had a hard time. My cousin was in Afghanistan. He's had it really rough. He's seen he there was a little villager boy that he was, friends with, that would like bring him water and stuff, and you know, he actually seen him die. He stepped on a landmine or something that was put down by the, people from Afghanistan, not the American people. And he just hasn't been right since, right? War changes you. I'm very sensitive to veterans because I've told you before, I have a family of veterans. Um, so he's had a really rough life. And then he met her actually when he was stationed. Not sure where. I don't remember where he was stationed. It actually might have, maybe it was Florida. I'm not sure because he did used to live in Florida. Kind of wish he still did because he could use me right now. I think a nice person to just talk to. But yeah, he's had it hard. So it hurts to know that he's dealing with this. But he had a moment apparently where he was like, he asked God, like, if I need to go back into my faith, start going to church, take my daughters to church, give me a sign. And he was driving and then he passed a church like almost immediately. And he was like, all right, there's my sign. So he's been going to church and taking their daughters, which they're very young. I think they're like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5. So still very young. Um, but yeah, only love can conquer hate. Exactly. I agree with that. And what's up, Wiley? I see you. Have a good day. But yeah, went off on a whole thing there. But that's, I try to put like my real life experiences in here for this stream, and I appreciate that you guys want to watch it. And I think that I actually fell behind on super chats. I don't know if I got this one. Yeah, I think I got this one. Fetty Gator, thank you for the gifted membership. Eric Stratton's been a member for 21 months. FanFest at Universal Hollywood might have Blues Brothers as a big part of the spring event. That's cool. They have here at Universal Orlando, they have like a permanent stage for the Blues Brothers. They've been out once or twice when I was there, and it's pretty cool. They just sing a song or two and then they go away. Christopher Peak has been a member for 6 months. Why not get a band from the area of the host city, San Francisco Bay Area? Has a lot of great musicians. I mean, that makes sense, Christopher, right? They should. That would be awesome. I mean, I know people might get mad, like if you don't have a big star for the Super Bowl halftime show, but highlighting maybe a smaller band as well. You know what I mean? Maybe have some big time artists, but then have someone come on and play with them that's smaller to get recognition. That would be wonderful. That's just I want to see independent creators rise up in me talking. Das Pooch for 5. Glad you're doing morning streams. God bless and happy hump day. That Geico commercial still cracks me up. I like doing this Wednesday morning stream. It's been a lot of fun. And I'm glad that you guys actually listen and hang out with me. It's really appreciated. I was hesitant to do this because I know it's kind of my normal content. Like now, I don't know if you two or the person that wrote this deleted it. I'm not going to highlight them or like say their name or anything, because I didn't disagree with what they said, but they had reached out on a stream and said, not to be careful stepping into politics because I don't want to alienate my audience, and I totally agree. I'm not agree, but I understand what they mean by that. Just looking out for me. But what I'm doing here is like, if you've been with me for a while, you know that the fringe left doesn't watch me. Like the raging leftists, they can't. Like even when I'm just gaming, things that I say, the way that I talk, Saucy. Could you imagine like a raging leftist watching Saucy? Whoa. They might, but they're mad. So not that I don't want anybody from that side in my audience. It's just that they're probably not really there. It's people that are okay with hard opinions, even if they like disagree with some of my stuff, but they're just here to kind of chill out and have fun. Because the majority of my streams, even when I am making fun of people like from the left or whatever, I'm just having fun when I do the pop culture talk and video games. So I'm glad that you guys are here. Aramis for 10. I'm just coming by to say hope you have a wonderful October, Miss Wicked. Gonna be a busy month for me, but I'll try to come by whenever I can. Enjoy the spooky season. Hail chat. Have a great week. Thank you so much, Aramis, for the 10 and for stopping by. Oh, I can't wait. There's gonna be lots of fun to be had this October. Speaking of fun, what's up, Smallville Man and GRP? I see you guys just now popping in. I'm finally gonna do my 10K celebration stream. I know it happened. It was actually September 11th. So it's been almost a month that I hit it finally. So thank you guys so much again for that. I'm going to do it this Friday. I haven't quite decided what I want to play yet. It's going to be just like a fun gaming stream, especially since I haven't been able to do as many gaming streams lately. So I'm going to do 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday to 8 p.m. and we're just going to play games. I don't know what I'm playing. Shout out to Ian. He sent me a Switch 2. So I'm thinking about getting the Donkey Kong Bonanza game and possibly playing that. But I may do, since it's like spooky season, right? I might try to like mix it up a little bit and play. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But all I know is 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday will be my 10K celebration stream. And then also, before you guys skedaddle on me, the Vara Virtue Show will be on Vara's channel tonight. And I'm actually extremely, not that I wasn't excited for stuff that we reviewed before, but I enjoyed this movie so much. Sorry, spoiler of my review already. I'm going to get it up on Critic List right before we go live. But make sure, here's the link. Make sure you're subbed to Vara, because the show is on her, just because her channel is amazing, but the show is on her channel tonight, and we will be reviewing Fright Night 1985, and it was the first time both of us watched it, and I can't wait to talk about it. I'm going to leave it for tonight, but 9 p.m. Eastern, Vara and I will be live yapping about stuff and reviewing Fright Night. Oh, great. Good. Make sure she is a powerhouse. Okay. She does a great job. So, all right. On that note, I have to go run some errands before the show tonight. I appreciate you all for hanging out. Thank you for the love. And I will see you next week. Bye.